I'm joined right now by our roundtable tonight. Ken Vogel's chief investigative reporter at Politico. Victoria McGrain is a political reporter for the great Boston Globe. See how I pronounce that? Boston Globe. And Jason Johnson is the politics editor at The Root. Jason, you start. What's this guy's problem?
He's from Queens. He should understand, say it to my face. Okay, like this is the thing. He keeps saying this stuff and he keeps backing off of it. And that, look, when I talk to my friends who are Trump supporters, that's the thing that makes them angriest. They're like, we like him because he says what he means what he says, and stands by it.
Does he know what he means?
I think he knows what he means. I think he doesn't care. But when you back off of it, you sound like a politician.
But when you make fun of a guy because of a disability that's obvious, and you're clearly mimicking or aping the guy, and then you say you're not doing, what part of it would anybody like, first of all?
Well, I think part of the problem here is that
unless you're 8 years old,
they did these sorts of off-the-cuff statements or sarcastic remarks, whatever you want to call them. They used to kind of slide off of Trump, and even when he did backtrack and all of this, it wasn't a problem. But now we're in the general election, and the Trump supporters, they like him. This is what they like about him. But that's not who he needs to persuade now. And these kinds of statements, and then the backing off, and instead of just saying I'm sorry, really is leaving a lot of people unsettled.
Victoria, you first and quickly, to Ken. The problem is we're trying to write a main bar piece today in journalism. I read the major papers today, the three big, the Journal, the Times, and the Post, and I'm trying to read them. I'm trying to read how they are struggling, these main editors. You start, Ken, to try to write an objective statement about what the guy said when it's in a controversy. Did he actually allude to go getting a gun and shooting somebody? Many people thought he did mean that.
Yeah, in journalism, we face a lot of pressure to give people the benefit of the doubt, and we should. We try to internalize it. So even if it doesn't fit with our narrative or what our initial perception is, we always have what we call that to be sure graph, where we give the exculpatory information or the alternative possibilities. But it's getting harder and harder to do that for Trump because he has this long history. And what could he possibly mean other than what our first blush, impression
Well, there's no lack of, when he talked about that thing with me about women should be, I think he simply didn't know the pro-life position, which is that you don't punish the woman because politically that would be outrageous, blame the doctor or whatever. And he just didn't know that. I mean, that was new. Like, he didn't know about nuclear weapons. He apparently thinks nuclear weapons are to be used, not as a deterrent.
And I think this is why you're seeing these, relatively high-profile Republican establishment figures coming out and not only repudiating Donald Trump and saying, I will not vote for him, but they're saying they're going to vote for Hillary Clinton. And some of them, like Meg Whitman, are saying they're going to do everything they can to get her elected. And that's the narrative that's building right now when a lot of Americans are paying attention.
I go back to something that's always been a problem. I call it his original sin. And I'm not a moralist. Everybody knows I'm not a moralist about politics. I like politicians. When he said Obama wasn't born in this country, first of all, it's impossible that he wasn't. His mother's white from Kansas. She married an African guy. Now, maybe the guy was dodgy. He's drank or whatever. He left her. Never really met the kid. Never really met the kid. He was 20-something. But clearly, it's the mother. Right. And she clearly did not skip over to Kenya just to have the kid so she could pretend to have the kid. Now, why? It's crazy talk. And giving the kid the name Barack Hussein Obama while she's plotting this 35-year campaign to make him a president. It makes no sense unless you're racist and you want to believe it. You want to believe this, as Joe Biden would call, malarkey. You just want to believe the stupidity.
It's the catch-22 of Trump's political career. That was what really endeared him. Yeah, to these
endeared him. I love your word. I love you.
But they like
you said endeared him.
They like
this endeared him. This lying about the guy being from Borneo or wherever the hell he's from.
There's a certain part of the base that like that.
He was brave enough to say it with it.
You're unbelievable.
Seriously, he was brave enough to say
brave enough. That's an odd usable word.
I think it's brave. Look, the people, the Ohio, Youngstown folks that I know, they love that. They've been waiting to hear it.
But then there's a hard ceiling. They just can't get over it.
But they also believe. Anyway, whatever. They got a whole set of beliefs. Anyway, thank you, Ken Vogel. Thank you, Victoria McGrain and Jason Johnson. You'll have to come back. This is a group that I must see again.